The shadows of Oakhaven. In the small rural town of Oakhaven, where whispers of the past hung in the air like morning fog, a legend lived among the townsfolk. A legend that had grown even darker with each retelling. It spoke of a creature known only as the Mothman, a harbinger of doom whose wings could eclipse the moon and whose eyes burned like dying stars. 17-year-old Mia was drawn to the folklore of Oakhaven like a moth to a flame. She had grown up hearing her grandparents' hushed tales of the Mothman, often dismissed as mere stories to scare children. But after finding a dusty old book in the attic, one that chronicled local legends, she felt a chilling surge of curiosity. With Halloween approaching, she set out to unravel the secrets of the creature that flickered between truth and fiction. Late one afternoon, she determined to visit the old abandoned quarry where sightings of the Mothman were reported most frequently. Accompanied by her best friend, Jake, she filled her backpack with flashlights, snacks, and an old camera, never missing a chance to document their adventures, no matter how spooky. As the sun dipped below the horizon, swirling shadows crept into the quarry. A cool breeze rustled through the trees, and a shiver ran down Mia's spine. Ignoring it, they ventured deeper, illuminated only by the faint beams of light from their flashlights, casting long, wavering shadows upon the cracked earth. "I don't see anything," Jake mused, his voice echoing in the eerie silence. "That's the point," Mia replied, biting her lip. "The stories say he enjoys lurking in the dark." When they reached the edge of the water, Mia made a foolish attempt to call out to the Mothman in a jesting voice, intending to lighten the mood. "Here, birdie, birdie, come out and play." A sudden gust of wind nearly knocked Jake off his feet. He steadied himself, eyes wide. "Maybe we should," but the words died in his throat as both friends froze. They felt it before they saw it. A palpable sense of dread, like the stillness before a storm. From the corners of their vision, something large moved, something that glimmered like shattered glass. Mia whipped her flashlight in the direction of the motion, her heart pounding. There, framed against the faint glow of the moon, stood a silhouette. It was enormous, taller than a man, with massive wings that looked like they were stitched from the fabric of the night itself. The creature's eyes, gleaming crimson like embers, pierced through the darkness, locking onto them with an insatiable hunger. "Run, now," Jake shouted, grabbing Mia's arm and pulling her away from the edge of the water. They sprinted through the quarry, panic surging through their veins. Behind them, the sound of wings flapping like thunder echoed ominously, growing louder with each frantic step they took. Mia dared a glance back and saw the Mothman in pursuit, its shadow stretching longer, morphing oddly as it enveloped the moonlight in a sinister dance. "Head for the woods, we can lose it there," Mia yelled, trying to keep her voice steady despite the tremor of fear coursing through her. They veered into the dense trees, the light from their flashlights struggling to penetrate the darkness. Twigs snapped underfoot as they vaulted over roots and dodged branches. Haunting cries echoed from the depth of the woods, the chilling sound of the creature growing ever closer. But as they stumbled deeper into the forest, they became disoriented. The trees twisted and turned like the very branches of a nightmare, leading them in circles. They could still hear it, flapping, whooshing, like a silent predator playing a cruel game. Mia pulled Jake towards a large oak tree, hoping to catch their breath. "What do? We can't just hide here forever," she gasped, frantically scanning the shadows. Suddenly, there was an unnatural silence. The wind stopped, as if even nature had held its breath. Then, a low, resonant hum filled the air, an echoing sound that shook the very ground beneath them. Mia's heart raced as the Mothman emerged from the dark, flapping its enormous wings with a majestic grace that belied its horror. In that moment, she understood. This was not a creature that sought merely to scare them, it was a warning. It swooped down, hovering before them with a piercing gaze that spoke of ruin. And in that dreadful instant, Mia felt visions crash into her mind, images of twisted metal, blazing fires, and despair that felt all too real. "No," she cried out. "We have to get out of here." With renewed determination, they bolted through the trees, fueled by a fear that transcended terror itself. Finally, they burst from the forest, emerging back into the moonlit clearing near the quarry. Their breaths came in ragged gasps, but the Mothman was nowhere in sight. They collapsed onto the grassy slope, soaking in the cool night air. But the feeling of dread lingered. Mia turned to Jake, her eyes wide with understanding. "We're not done. We have to warn the town." Days turned into weeks, and as Halloween approached, strange disasters struck Oakhaven, car accidents, fires, and inexplicable incidents that left the town shaken. Each time, Mia recalled the visions. When they took their warnings to the town council, most dismissed them as just the foolishness of youth. The stories of the Mothman were merely legends after all. But Mia stood firm, her voice rising above the murmurs of disbelief. Halloween night arrived, and while trick-or-treaters roamed the streets, Mia and Jake stayed vigilant, watching over the town. The air felt thick, electric, and the shadows moved with an unsettling life. As the clock struck midnight, a blood-curdling sound echoed from the quarry, pushing strangers to bolt upright. The town would learn too late that the Mothman had warned them. In Oakhaven, the legends lived on, forever intertwined with the realities that followed. The stories told still whispered on the wind, reminding them that some shadows were not mere myths, but harbingers waiting to show their true selves. And Mia knew, as she gazed into the encompassing night, that the Mothman would always be watching, a vigilant guardian poised between realms of existence, forever yearning for those unprepared to face the darkness.